Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hello again, everybody. This is Joe Larsen, and you're watching the 505 on Racing Show. Welcome. Welcome to another Monday night of race talk. Should be a good one. Should be a very good one. Well, they're usually all good ones. Wow, we got people. They're just signing on right into that chat room. But anyway, it was a good week. Everything was wonderful. Had a nice, relaxing week away from the racetrack, a weekend, I should say. I don't get to do that too often, but when I do, it's real good. The entire weekend was awesome. I had a great time this weekend. Nice R&R, I guess you could say. You need to do that once in a while. You need to definitely do that once in a while. And I know MyRacers.com, he took a trip up to Bethel Speedway in upstate New York for a big Legends race. I'm sure he'll fill us in for that. But Long Island Need for Speed is asking, how are things at Riverhead, the local racetrack here at Long Island? I wasn't there either, so I don't know. Video Mike, they were awesome. What I believe he's referring to, I took my daughter to one of my I'm going to say it's got to be one of my top 3 favorite restaurants of all time. A place I've been going to, oh man, I'm going to say close to 30 years. I've been going to Vincent's Clam Bar in Carl Place, New York, here on Long Island. I'm giving a little plug here because they always treat me good there. It's like when I go to some other racetracks, they treat me real good. No matter how long the wait is, I still go through the motions. I still go sign in, get my little, when this beeps, come to the counter, we'll get you a table. And today's wait will be 45 minutes to an hour. And my daughter looks at me and she goes, she knows my threshold is like 15 minutes. But what she didn't realize, and I'm, friends with the owner, and I kind of just walk in, gravitate to wherever he's standing, and all he says to me is, how many you have? I tell him. He gets on his little speaker thing and walkie-talkie or his phone, whatever it is, and he tells the head people, get me seated right away. And then he always gives me like an appetizer and throws in a dessert. So, I want to kudos to Vincent's Clam Bar and Carl Place and brothers Bobby and Tony who operate the place, and we had a great time, an awesome time. And it was nice there. There's some TVs. You get to watch whatever sporting event is on, so it's all good. It's all good. Also, yesterday I went out to Sayville, Long Island, to the Sayville Fest, and the Sunday part of the Sayville Fest is the car show. A lot of people showing their cars, and one guy. And I don't remember his name, and I wish I would have got a picture of it, has a street legal tour type modified. And I kid you not, it's got a New York registration on the windshield, a New York State inspection, license plates. I believe what he added to it is he added taillights, he added headlights, directionals, a full windshield, rear view mirrors on the outside. I'm trying to figure out what else in order to make it street legal. It's got Coke headers in it. So I guess it has the little noise to it. No, I'm not going to do that again, folks. And it has threaded Hoosier tires, so it looks pretty cool. And there's 2 seats in it, and the registration sticker says 2-door Chevy sedan, and whatever year Troy or chassis that was. The only other thing that's different is the rear bumper. For those who are familiar with modified stock cars, or whether it's a Troy or a CD or a Spafco, whatever it might be, or homemade, the I-beam rear bumper is, well, you could put your lug nuts on it and use it as a dish almost. The bumper is the other way around. It's square. There are no ledges to it. It's a square, solid bumper. But it was pretty cool. It was good. Oh, okay, Kevin, you've been there. I knew what he meant. You headed that restaurant, but it was all good. So again, a thank you to Bobby at Vincent's Clam Bar for making my daughter's birthday dinner a special. And there's a guy singing there, and he came over and put his arm around my daughter, embarrassed the heck out of her, and he sang happy birthday. So, but it was all good. Let's see. Long Island Need for Speed, he's saying, ooh, elaborate, Kevin. Kevin, Long Island Need for Speed is saying, I do not have press passes for Riverhead anymore. Oh, I guess he didn't heed the warning. Because I know I'm on lifetime probation there, so they haven't kicked me out. Anyway, so Kevin's familiar with that car. So it's an 86 Troyer, and he knows the guy. I mean, it was a cool car. It was blue, number 14. And I'll tell you, I wanted to take a spin in it. I just wanted to go around the block, but I couldn't. But anyway, and speaking of remotes, Video Mike, I think that's we are here considering, and we're in discussions of me doing a little more remote stuff for the show to bring you the best of auto racing news, and I'll be visiting some shops in the nearby future, visiting people's shops, sitting down, pre-recording some segments and playing them here for you folks to enjoy. I have some scheduled. I'm not going to say who they are. We'll keep that a big surprise. But I will be at the Himes Museum of Nostalgia on August 24th with camera crew in hand. Spoke indirectly to Marty, because Marty don't do computers. I spoke indirectly to Marty through his daughter. And we got the okay to come and interview some of these old-time drivers from the days gone by. So I'm really looking forward to that, meeting up with some of the old drivers from the Freeport days and the ISOP days, and actually in days before that. Guys who've raced just about every type of race car. Guys come to this reunion at the Himes Museum of Nostalgia from all over the country. And I remember when he was having this event at the local racetrack here in Long Island, and at the last minute it was canceled for whatever reason. And he had people coming from all over the country that already had reservations. Some were already here. And that's more than likely one of the issues Marty has with the local racetrack. And he's moved this event to his museum. And I'll tell you what, it's a great day. Unfortunately, we can't race the cars like we had. I had the opportunity to drive one of his old race cars. In fact, it was an old Walt Edsel car. Walt Edsel, former chief steward at Riverhead Raceway and ISA Speedway, who had passed away back, I believe it was in 99. And I got to drive his car. And I remember Marty coming up to me just as I was line to go out. I'm strapping in, and literally strapping in with a strap. And Marty goes, just don't go too hard because it has Maypop tires. And I was like, Maypop tires? What's he talking about? And I looked at him. I says, what are Maypop? He goes, well, if you go too fast, they may pop. So we didn't want to do that. So, but I had a good time. And yes, the Old Timers Day, August 16th at Riverhead Raceway, we'll have some of the old cars out there, Jazambach and the Jazambach cars and a few other cars. And through the efforts of Kevin Basik and Long Island Need for Speed, it should be a good day. But Now, Kevin, my question for you would be now is this, is that being that they pulled your credentials, will you be allowed in that day? And how is that going to work? But anyway, we'll see what happens. And yes, Silverback, I will be in Connecticut Friday. I'll be headed up to Stafford Motor Speedway in Stafford Springs, Connecticut for a Whelen Modified Tour event with the 33 and 38 teams, I should say. Looking forward to Stafford. I always like going to Stafford because I get treated pretty good there. But then again, I think the Arute family treats all its competitors and former officials and crew members well. And it's like you go into their house. It's their house, and they welcome you until you do something stupid, and then you're not welcome. So that's one of the places that I have not done something stupid at least in the eyes of a promoter. But anyway. Oh, yes, this weekend, the Sprint Cup Series and the trucks were at Pocono. The Nationwide Series was at Iowa. The Whelen Modified Tour was off again, and they'll be headed to Stafford this Friday. And the Southern Modified Tour was at Bowman Gray, and we'll talk about some of that stuff, what was going on at Bowman Gray. Some stuff going on in the NASCAR ranks, some of the news, some information about the elite alliance that the owners put together in order to get a better share of TV, I guess, networking and saving money and all that kind of good stuff. So, I know WJ's feelings about Stafford Motor Speedway, and I respect that. I mean, that's just one of the places that I have just the reverse. They treat me pretty darn good there, so. And have always been helpful to me. I've been going to that place for like 12 years now, so I've probably seen 50 or 60, maybe more, because I also went up for some Friday night events. Because that's the type of place that from Long Island, you hop on the ferry. I would hop on the ferry and only have to be on 95 for a little bit. Traffic wasn't too bad, and the show starts promptly. Qualifying at 6, features at 7. I was in my car at 9:30 each and every Friday night that I went there. So. A good program, and it's organized, and it's the cars go on a racetrack in order. There's no hot laps. They line up in the backstretch. They show them when to go at the line, and they're going to go green. And hot laps. I know the local racetrack does hot laps, and I know why the local racetrack does hot laps. And they say it's to put heat in the Hoosier tires, so that when you go into lap 1, turn 1, everything sticks. But you know what? Especially with the modifieds, the tour modifieds, when they go here or go there, they don't get any hot laps. They do the normal, they tell the officials, I was one of the guys, show them 3 and walk away. And they do 3 pace laps on the pit road speed, which is, I think, 25 miles an hour. And they go green. And they're not piling up at the end of turn 1. But what somebody convinced somebody years ago that you need hot laps. And it's one of those things, how do you go backwards? How do you take that away? And I think that just, and I know it's only 3 laps or 4 laps, and it probably only takes a minute, but it doesn't. Because when you think about it, now they go, they're all lined up, and somebody gives them the single go, and then they do their laps. And then because they don't stay in line, then it's another 2 laps to get them relined up. And it's not a race. Some of these guys race in hot laps. And there's only been a handful of wrecks that I recall during hot laps, but it's not necessary. It's just not necessary. But somebody has them convinced that it is, and that's what they do. And that goes back forever. I just remember that going back forever. And even, with figure 8 stock cars, they're doing hot laps too, but they're not doing hot laps to get heat in the tires, even though some people think that's why they're doing it. They're doing hot laps to get the dust off the intersection, the crisscrossing of the X. So, it's not, at WJ at Riverhead, it's not. There's only the left front that's different. The right rear and the right front. The right side tires are just about the same exact compound. So, it's a very similar compound, and you still don't need hot laps. I don't. I think it's a waste. And it may be a better tire. And I'm gonna, oh, man, you guys always, every time I try to get out, you suck me back in. I think it's a fresher tire, if that's being politically correct. I don't think some of the local racetracks are getting the freshest possible tires made. And I think some of these tires are sitting in the warehouse and they're oddball sizes, and they're like, where can we dump these? And I remember when another guy was handling the tires at the racetrack when I was around as an official. I can remember going in and looking at the numbers, and the numbers are just, I don't know who writes the numbers on these tires when you go into the tire trailer, because I know it's not done by the distributor, the tire guy at the racetrack. It's done at the factory, and somebody's putting, and I can remember telling drivers, that's only a guide. Yeah, it's not aired up, and you're going to throw your tire tape on it. It's going to measure, you know, an 83 and 7/8, but it says on it 83 or 83 1/4. It's just a guide, and I can remember some of the games being played with some of these tires when you had some real oddball sets of tires, and they weren't matching up. And I can remember the chalk marks being erased of the size-wise, and then different numbers putting on them so they look like an ideal set, and they'd write on the tires, hold for so-and-so. And then, you know, people say, well, so-and-so's not here. Can I have these tires? No, those are for so-and-so. I got to have, those are his, you know. Well, are they paid for? Well, no, but, you know, I put them on the side, and, yeah, but he's not coming. Can I have them? So then that Racer X would get that set of tires, and after they're all mounted up and on his race car, he'd come back, look, they're not sizing up what they say. Oh, you wanted them, you got them. You know, some of the stuff. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Bowman Gray and this Wheelin's Southern Modified Tour when we come back.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. Paul Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or a flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural.
And organic.
But strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice. And we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
Hey, this is Chris Less Jake, and if InRavio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
InRavio.com.
Hey, we're back. Just doing a little chat. Bethel Speedway, I know WJ was up there, talking about some stuff. Yeah, it was a place that I went to years ago. It was kind of funny. It was an open comp race. It was in October. Our racing season on Long Island was done. The team I was involved with had won the championship, and it was called the Run With Your Brung. There was sprint cars, there was tour type modifieds, there was SKs, there was street stocks, there were figure eight cars, there was late models. It was just everything, a mishmash of cars, and you drew out of a hat. It was 3 or 4 heats, and I remember it was $2,000 to win. Big payday. We're all going. I remember my buddy Gordon Burnsot was up there, and he's now racing down in Kentucky. And we all go up. We all go up, stay the weekend. It was a great time. And so I decided, look, there's about 8 or 9 guys from Long Island there. So, so I'm the head guy up on Long Island. I'm the head official. So let me do the right thing. I got a nice bonus from the promoters for my year end. So I had a couple extra bucks in my pocket. So I went up to the head official. I said, listen, I want to put up $100 to the first Long Island guy across the line. He says to me, he goes, all right, let me tell you, the promoters, they're going to love this. So the promoter came in. You would have thought I put up the whole purse the way I was being treated. Little did I know, it was a good portion of it, because it was like $2,000 to win and $100 for second. And so they introduced me at the drivers' meeting. When I walked through the grandstands, and I just walked up. I think I was going to watch a race, another class that was racing there, and the announcer was told to announce it. They made me stand up. I had to do the wave thing. Hey, how you doing? And then the head official comes up to me right before the race went on. He goes, listen, when we do payoff, you're going to need to stand by the payoff window because we don't know who's from Long Island. Yeah, that's not a problem. So I go up to the payoff window, and I said, sorry, you see that guy over there? That's the guy. Gets 100. Now everybody's all excited, and the top 5, 6 people are getting paid in an envelope. I'm like, oh, well, the guy that was, I think, 4th, got the $100 from me. He has his envelope, and it's thick. Well, 4th paid like $55, and it was like 40 singles, a 10 and a 5. It was like unbelievable. Remember the late Kenny Hyde? He thought he got a thick envelope too, and he didn't get too much money. He didn't even get enough money to cover the tolls. And his wife thought it was really bad. And she went up there and started screaming at the people, and that always works. But it was just the way it was. They advertised $2,000 to win, and first place got $2,000. And there was just no other money. I think after like sixth on to 24th, got like nothing. I mean, man, it was a crazy thing. But that was the racetrack that had no wall on the backstretch, and it was a little berm. And if you lost it coming off a 2, you went over the berm, and one guy, I'll never forget, the guy drove down the street, through the pit gate, through the pits, back out onto the racetrack. It was kind of fun. And look at that, $6 to get in. That's one of the things I was going to talk about, is some of what it costs to come into some of these racetracks. And I know. And whether you go to the front gate or the back gate, and for those who aren't familiar, the front gate being the grandstand or spectator side, or the back gate being the pit side. And I've only promoted one race in my entire life, and it was a break even. It was way back in '79. It was a battle of the sexes race when ABC's TV was on Wild World of Sports and was doing all these sports, men against women, and that was back then when Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King played tennis together, and there were a lot of other men-women sports swapping to see who was going to win, the man and the woman. So we promoted a race and battle of the sexes type of scenario with the men and women racing, and to make it interesting, we had, to enter, you had to agree to let somebody else drive your car. So the men with their figure-8 cars had to get into the ladies' division cars, which ran at ISOP back in the 70s. And then the ladies got into the men's figure-8 cars. And I had like a 50-lap. It was a great day, and it was fun. The race was won by Bill Howard's wife, Sharon, in his figure-8 car, which we all knew that was going to happen. Because the women, they weren't used to driving, figure-8 type stock cars. And back then, figure-8 cars were figure-8 cars. But it was a good day. So that was a race I brought. But anyway, it wasn't easy to do that. It paid like $100 to win, and basically it was a blunderbuss purse is what it turned out to be. And then they used that purse when the ladies division was not getting enough cars, and they allowed men to go into it. So now, of course, they couldn't call it the ladies division. They called it the novice division. Of course, they were supposed to be novice drivers. But basically what happened was guys who couldn't cut it in the street stocks or the late models or the modifieds or the bombers even came in and tried to dominate it. And they slowly pushed the women out. And then they didn't want to be called novice anymore because they weren't novice. They were, something else. And they had a big meeting, and the division was changed to Charger division. The history of the division, that's just how things work out. And but the payoff was like horrible, in the novice division, which became Charger, and it's still kind of horrible. But if you ask me, nobody's asking me. But anyway, Bowman Gray, the Whelen Southern Modified Tour was at Bowman Gray this past Saturday, with Danny Bond winning from the pole. Cole Powell was second, Luke Fleming was third, Andy Seiss was fourth, Spencer Davis was fifth, Kyle Ebersol was sixth, Gary Putnam seventh, Joe Ryan Osborne was eighth, A.J. Winstead was ninth, Bert Meyer was 10th, and local Long Islander J.R. Bertuccia was 14th, got caught up in a wreck midway through the event. Missing from that event was Tim Brown, who was atop the leaderboard in points, or battling for the lead. Tim Brown sat out that event at Bowman Gray Stadium, vowing not to return to the racetrack due to a 100-point penalty that was inflicted upon him by the local officials and track operators. Tim Brown got into a situation with Burt Myers a couple weeks back, and both he and Burt Myers were docked 100 points. And I've been saying this for years. You could find people money, they don't care. They'll write the check, because these are people, guys, I'm telling you, that they're racing, and not these guys, but guys and gals who race for $100 to win, but they put on an $800 set of tires to go racing. So it's never about the money. So I had many a conversation with Lynn Carroll, who's involved with the competition, and Jerry Cook about this over the years, about what's with these fines? Nobody cares. They'll get their sponsor to write a check, they'll get their rich friend to write a check, whatever, and it doesn't bother them. They're back the following week. But why are people there? People are there for that $5 piece of hardware that you hand out at the banquet or the luncheon or the dinner, whatever you want to call it, and that's all they want. They want that first place trophy, that second, third, whatever. So now 100 points, to be docked 100 points, is like sitting out 2 weeks. That's what it's like. It's like, and that's if you're like a top runner, running up front. If you're a mid-pack guy and you get docked 100 points, that's like sitting out a month. Your chances to be in the top 3, 4, 5 in points, even a championship, are nil. To lose 100 points when you're only running for 50 points anyway. So Tim Brown, he took a stand. I respect it. I don't agree with what he's done. I do not agree. He did something wrong, take your penalty like a man and move on, as Burt Myers did, and Junior Miller has in the past, and a couple of those guys in the Southern Modified ranks that race at Bowman Gray. And I guess he thought that they were going to rescind the 100 points, and I'm only speaking from speculation. I guess he thought that they were going to rescind that and say, okay, okay, Tim Brown, we're a little harsh on you. We're only going to do 10 points. No, they couldn't do that. They weren't going to do that. And him sitting out, again, I respect that. And his sponsors are behind him with his decision. And And I'm thinking when you have a sponsor that says, yeah, sit out the rest of the year, who cares? His sponsorship program was probably a week-to-week deal. They didn't write him a big check in the beginning of the season because I know when I had the Big Brothers Big Sisters deal, I got a big check in March, and I got another big check in the end of June. So I got 2 checks. So I had to do what I was supposed to do, and if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, or my team didn't do what they were supposed to do, we didn't get the second check, and it was in our contract. And as my racers.com was saying, he's running the Coma Tour, the Koma Tour, and he's still running, but he's not doing his Bowman Gray stuff. And Bowman Gray is down in the South. That's the flagship of racetracks. No racetrack will schedule against it. The Southern Modified Tour in NASCAR will not schedule against it because it's Bowman Gray. And if you've ever been there, I'll tell you what, the place is awesome. It reminds me of the old Freeport Municipal Stadium here on Long Island. It's a little track circling around the football field. And it's an awesome place. The people there are wacko. They are certifiably wacko. They have their allegiances. They put 8,000 people into this place, 8,500 people into this place, and they're insane. The people are insane there. And but this is creating a little thing now. If Tim Brown then decides to come back, how is his treatment going to be? How kind of interactions going to? How are the fans going to feel? I don't know, but I respect what he's doing. The guy said, you don't give me back my 100 points, I'm not coming back. And I'll tell you what, I wish I had a nickel every time the race team said, I'm not coming back. And they're the first guys online the following week. So my hat's off to Tim Brown again. I'm going to say this. I don't agree with what he's doing. You messed up. Take your penalty. All right, and enough said. With that, I got Long Island Need for Speed's Kevin Basik on the line, patiently waiting. I actually, not that I forgot that he was there, but I had to get my thing in. Kevin, you out there?
Yeah, I'm out here. There's a good conversation you had about, Bowling Gray. Well, Riverhead's the Bowling Gray of the North, you know that.
It is.
But I've got the results. Saturday we had the Hempstead Fireman's Tournament. It was really good. I helped do some video work there. CI Hobos had 29 points. My team, the Northlanders Piston Knockers, had a really good day with 27 points. Everything was perfect for those guys. That motor was running like a rape date for 30,000. West Hempstead had 20 points. Port Washington Roadrunners had 17, and Hicksville Hicks had 9 points. And this Saturday is the North Belmore Invitational over in Merrick, off of Merrick Road at Fireman's Park, and that starts at 10 a.m. What else? Also for Riverhead Raceway for Old Timers Night, I've got a whole bunch of cars coming from Connecticut. I already talked to the guy that had that 7 New York car. I talked to him yesterday. He's working on getting some famous drivers like Bugsy Stevens to come down. He's working on getting Leo Clary and the other guy in the 43, Billy Greco, to come down because they all raced here on Long Island. So hopefully that'll go well. And I guess if I have to pay for the getting in that night, I guess I'll have to pay, whatever. But I don't know what I did. But 2 weeks ago, everything was cool. I actually didn't sign in. I just walked in because they said I wasn't on the sign-in sheet. Mm-hmm. Everything was fine. I was hanging out with Mike Caparella, hanging out with everybody. Everything was fine. I didn't have a wristband, whatever. But whatever I did, I apologize or whatever. I guess I'll have to talk to Mike about it, whatever. Right. I have no idea what I did. I didn't say anything bad or anything like that. I'm showing Riverhead Raceway every week on TV. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I just can't figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Just can't figure it out.
Well, sometimes that happens, and especially with the track operators being removed from the racetrack because of one having a situation. Barbara Crompany was in the hospital, just got out of the hospital recently, and is doing rehab at home. And well wishes for speedy recovery to Barbara. But they're not even there. So somebody's feeding them, and that's what happens, and that's what happened to me there. They were being fed stuff that I did or didn't do or could have did or might have did or maybe said.
Well, why didn't they stop me 2 weeks ago when I was there? Because I wasn't there this Saturday. It was at the Fireman's Tournament.
That's just the way they do it.
Why didn't they stop me? I had no bracelet, no nothing. I was hanging out, videotaping. You see me, what I normally do.
Yep. I know that.
I don't know. If I did something wrong, I apologize. I'll say it right on the air. If I did something wrong, I apologize.
Yeah, and I know that when I left the modified tour after Monadnock, the following Saturday night, I forget where I was. I wasn't at the local racetrack, but it was announced over the radio, and I found this out through a vendor who monitors the NASCAR frequency in the afternoon, not while they're racing, and it was told that if I was in the pits with a certain colored wristband to escort me out, I was like, wow, what did I do? I didn't do anything.
Meanwhile, going out of my way for that old timers thing, because that's something I enjoy. Like I said, I'm into all those old cars, because those are the real modifies. You know what I mean? And I got a sponsor, like I said, the tow truck operator is going to kick in some money. Hopefully it'll be the tow money to get the guys back home that do come. I don't know how many people are coming. I got a couple of cars that wanted to come from New Jersey, plus my other club star. So I don't know who's coming. I made sure the cars that are coming, raced here on Long Island, I know they're from Connecticut or whatever. You know, you get a Bugsy Stevens car, you get a 99, a Bodine car, a 43 Billy Greco, you know, cars that came during the All-Star League and when they had the Bicentennial 200 at Freeport and stuff like that. And like I said, I guess I have to talk, send an email or something to Mike Capper and see what's going on, because he did talk to me 2 weeks ago. And I said, yeah, you're right, Mike. You know what? I'm just going to film my video stuff, not talk to nobody, which I haven't done. I don't talk to nobody. I do my own thing, mind my own freaking business, and that's it. Then, like I said, I went there 2 weeks ago. They go, Kevin, you're not on the list. I go, where's Mike Caparella? Oh, we don't know. Well, I'll have to go find him. So I just walked right in and did what I had to do for the whole night. Mike Caparella was right there, along with the guy that does all the maintenance and stuff. What's his name? Steve or what? I forget what his name is.
John Elwood.
He's a really nice guy. I had a little scuffle with him about that time with Justin Bonsignor, because I was showing Justin the video and all that, and he was over there, and I guess he didn't like that or whatever. He goes, well, do you want to come back here? I go, well, I'm not really, because I'm not going to be here for the next couple of weeks, because you know, I'm involved with the fire department drill team stuff now too, because I do the thing for their website now. So, you know, I'm only going to go to Riverhead maybe 2 or 3 more times. I know it's the old timers night. I'm definitely going, and I'm definitely going to go when they have the tour race. And I think I wanted to go there when they had the monster trucks. So there's like 3 more times I'm going to wind up going there, because I'm going to Bethel the 23rd, having an old timers night. Betty wants to go see Woodstock, because there's some bands playing there. Just as long as we get out of there early to go to Bethel, that's all I care about. So that's what I'm going to do. You know, I'm promoting Riverhead Raceway. I heard that Saturday night they really didn't have any cars, 10 cars. All total, maybe they had 50 cars out of all the divisions they ran. So that's pretty bad. I'm watching a video right now from 2008, which I'm going to send the video off to Mike from New Jersey. And it was a crap load of cars, late models, modifies, everything was there. You know, it's a shame.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said before, if they would lower the prices to get people in, I guess that would help. Because my cousin Greg went to Albany-Saratoga Raceway this past Friday night. They had the URC sprint cars there. $10 to get in. The sprint cars ran a 50-lap feature. They had over 125 cars. That's including big block modifies, which Brett Hearn won, and the small block modifies, along with some kind of like rookie class for the modifies. And they had late models that night, and then street stocks. And there was over, like I said, well over 150 cars there. No kidding around, you know, because he called me from the racetrack, asked if I was out of Riverhead, said, nope, I didn't go. I was at the fireman's tournament this afternoon. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to drive all the way from Lyndhurst, well, not Lyndhurst, West Babylon now, all the way to Riverhead to find out I can't get in again. You know what I mean? The last time I did what I did, and I was in. But if they say no, you know, I wasted freaking 80 miles round trip. You know what I'm saying? So I want to help. I love the track. I love everybody that's there. And you know, I'd love to have all 3 of us video guys get together and work together as a team instead of everybody. You know, you got Captain Video, you got that other guy, Pitbull guy, myself. And now the other kid that used to sell the programs, he races go-karts. We all got together and made one video. I guarantee it would be spectacular. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I got all the in-car camera stuff, all that stuff. So
different angles,
I know,
the whole
but they're all against me. Cause I showed all those guys what to do, me and Ricky Miller, and now, you know, they're all doing their own things. If I'm filming the car coming out of the pits, they're filming the cars coming out of the pits. You know, plus, I'm surprised they haven't used the radio frequencies. I put that into the videos, too, so you hear the drivers talking and stuff. Hey, one thing, I'm in the Hall of Fame. They ain't.
There you go. There you go.
And
then
I
for
know
those
that
that
guy
don't-
that has that modified, too, from Bayshore.
Yeah.
Because actually, my brother Steven had a coupe. Actually, you've seen it last year at Riverhead Raceway. It was an old coach modify, and the guy made Billy. Billy, you know, who was on your show there. He's a fireman
Yep.
with Floral Park. Built it into a street rod also.
Yeah.
A 37 Chevy coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thing's pretty cool. Looks, you know, on a Troyer chassis and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I seen that other one you're talking about. It's a really nice car.
It was nice, very nice. I wish I could have did it, at least go around down Main Street, save it. Would have had a good time.
Yeah, right, definitely. There's another guy that has a car like that upstate, and that's a Troyer car, Troyer Falcon, and that's Tim Pitts. He does the announcing for Orange County Fair Speedway. He's a hell of a nice guy. He belongs to the Garden State Vintage Club. I see him every time we go with Garden State. Brings down his 2 cars from Dorney Park.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's pretty good. So, like I said, if anybody knows any drivers for Old Timers Night, tell them to come. You know, I'm trying. Like I said, I talked to Eddie Brunhustle Sr. and Jr., and they're trying to get their, you know, grandfather, Eddie Jr.'s father, and the third, his grandfather, to come to Riverhead. Plus, I'm going to stop down and see Joe Mamalino, because he's right around the corner from me over here at the junkyard. I got Sal Licardi Jr. coming down. Actually, 2 cars of my brothers are coming down here. One's an SK. The other one's an up-to-date Troyer car. I ran at Wall Stadium about 4 or 5 years ago. All you got to do is slap a motor in that. Sal said he'd take the motor out of his Camaro, which came out of the Modify anyway, and he's trying to sell them, so maybe Sal could race them out here, put for sale on them, and maybe somebody from the island will pick them up or whatever. Like I said, one's an SK, and the other one's a regular tour-type Modify. So it's in Area Auto. Best offer.
There you go.
Top of the page.
All right. Well, Kevin, Long Island Need for Speed, thank you for the fire department drill team updates. We always love hearing about that stuff. 'cause
Right. Like I said, this Saturday is
good.
North Belmore, 10 a.m. start. It's off of Merrick Road. It's over the old Freeport Stadium exit, Mill Road. Instead of going that way, you make a left, and the Fireman's Park's right there, right by the Wallbaum Shopping Center.
There you
So
go.
I'm tossed on what I'm doing this weekend. Either I'm going there. If I get my credential back, I'll go out to Riverhead because I want to see the 50 lap for the modified. So
There you go.
hey, I'll do what I got to do. I'll keep my mouth
Absolutely.
shut. I'm showing the Long Island Need for Speed every week, Riverhead Raceway, and that's that. I'm actually doing some stuff right now for that, and I'm going to send some more stuff off to Mike. Mike, if you're listening, I still need that tape from Shangri-La. I want to see what that track's like. It's a brick racetrack, not brick, but concrete track. And you gave me another video from some dirt track in PA that you can't even watch, no sound, no nothing, but it's okay, no big deal.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the stuff that you gave me from Mahoning. They always got a good crowd at Mahoning, believe it or not. I don't know about Riverhead, but hopefully the fans will come back.
All right.
All right, so
Okay.
hopefully I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
You think.
That's
You got
that.
it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Kevin Basik, Long Island Need for Speed. Always a pleasure. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some nonsense that I heard about that's going on at Greenville Pickens Speedway in South Carolina. And you guys thought your local racetrack was bad. Wait till you hear this when we come back.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Less Jake, and if InRavio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Paul Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info. For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
Greenville Pickens Speedway, Greenville, South Carolina. Now, if you think your local racetrack is playing games, and I'm getting this information kind of from different sources, the majority of it is from race22.com, and then also, which maybe you go look there, was a post in the social media by Freddie Kraft. And I'll just go over this. They're calling it Shenanigans at Greenville Pickens Speedway. In an effort to have a national champion from the track management and officials have allowed start and park drivers to be in the race, as reported by race22.com. Local driver Anthony Anders' point total is being aided by the use of those start and park cars. Plus, there's a peculiar DQ which gave Anders a sweep of the late model races this past Sunday. And other accusations have Anders' son spinning late in the race while his dad was running third, and is apparently then moved a second place guy in the restart position, and then the winner Porter, then Porter goes after Anders in retaliation and is DQ'd. Anders finishes second, then protests the winner, who is subsequently DQ'd. Now, for those of you who don't understand or don't know how the points work in a feature division, all the other support divisions at every NASCAR Weekly All-American Series, NASCAR Wheeling All-American Series racetrack get 50 points for a win, 48 for second, 46 for third, and so forth, so on down the line. The feature division is different. The feature division takes, and I think I have this right, the number of cars in the event. So let's say there's only, we'll say 14 cars or 12 cars. Well, first place then gets 24 points and not 50. If you start 24 cars, 50 points going in, and for every car you're missing, you drop off 2. And maybe my math is off, but you drop off 2 points. Now, what happens is this. Pete Daniels was the national champion under the old CPI, which was the competition index back in the day, back in, I believe it was 2002. He raced in the feature division at his racetrack, a modified, that only had 8 cars. But what they did is they allowed each division that raced there to get at the tail end of the field, and they were on the lineup as starting the race. They took the green, went into turn 1, and turn 2 pulled into the infield. So Pete Daniels was still only racing against 6 cars, and they time trialed every week, so therefore he was the fastest car. He started a pole. He became the national champion. Greenville Pickens Speedway apparently is doing the same thing, because having a national champion come out of your racetrack is prestigious. And I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, there's a little financial reward that goes along with that. It's a big thing to have a national champion come out of your racetrack with this new, the way the points work. And here's a racetrack that's obviously playing these games. It's late in the season. There's maybe only 6 or 7 races left because the NASCAR weekly points stop at a certain point in September, and I believe it's like the 23rd or 24th, whenever that Saturday falls in that week. And they're going to do everything in their power to make this guy a national champion. Because the other part of that is, and I believe it's your best 16 events. Now, here's a guy, he's probably only racing there. So his best 16 have to be top 2s, top 3s. It's not like a guy in Connecticut who's going to race Waterford, Stafford, Thompson, although Thompson's only running a select number of shows this year. But when they did that in the past, these guys would have 50 events. 50 events. They're racing 3 times a week. That's just how it was. And that's why years and years ago, when they had the regional layout, because of the proximity of racetracks to Long Island was part of the New England region. Of course, back then it was Riverhead, Thompson, Stafford, Waterford, Seekonk, Beech Ridge, Monadnock, to name just a few. And for some reason, when they got away from that and redid it, and they went to the state things, Long Island is part of New York, and therefore, if a guy in Long Island wants to race in another track, featured division that has their type of cars, they got to go all the way up to Rochester and race at Spencer and Chemung. So, with that being said, there's a lot of people unhappy about this, and I believe there's a certain driver in Connecticut who is ripping mad because he's doing it the right way with full fields and qualifying through the events and running up front. And he's been a national champion once, and it's Matty Hirschman, and he's missed out, came in second a couple of times, and third yet another time. So this guy's pretty upset about this, and I don't blame him, because that's nonsense, and I think NASCAR should take a look at that and really go after this. But you know what? And I've said this dozens of times, and this is a no knock to NASCAR. It's just the nature of the business. The races happen Saturday. On Monday, that racetrack across North America sends their check to NASCAR for the sanctioning fees that they pay weekly, and 5% of the total purse is paid out that goes into the NASCAR point fund. So do they really care that this racetrack is doing it? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, somebody needs to take a look at this, and this is this isn't an official in the back playing games in the tech area. This is officials and track operators making this happen. And I'll tell you what, I know a few years back I black flagged a local favorite, not a fan local favorite, but a behind the scenes favorite. And not only did I black flag him, which brought him into the pits, he was done, but in tech, we took the car apart. We took every piece of sheet metal off that race car. We tracked every wire's beginning and ending, and we got out of there about 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time I drove back to Babylon, where I lived, it was a 45-minute drive. So it was after 3 by the time I got home, showered, and got into bed. And at 7:30 in the morning, the track operators called me up, and they wanted to know, and I quote, "What gave you the right to do that? That car was supposed to race somewhere today and cannot because you took it apart." Before I could even answer, the next words out of their mouth was, "Before you do something like that, you talk to us." They're 22. No, it wasn't you, man. It was a modified guy. And then stuff happens, and I don't even go to talk about what was said in their office the following weeks, but these are the things that happens that tarnishes the racing, and unfortunately, NASCAR gets the blame. NASCAR didn't do this. It was something done at a NASCAR racetrack. And it shouldn't be. I don't know what the fix is here, but, you know, I'm thinking somebody should go and take a look. Somebody from NASCAR, whether it be a competition director, whether it be just some guy that goes up and reports to somebody, should go sit there and see that this is happening. And I'll tell you what, you know, a few years ago, Brian Franz showed up at Riverhead Raceway, bought a ticket, sat in the backstretch, and watched the races. It turned out it was a good night. Nobody knew he was coming. He just happened to be out on a yacht, and he was staying out at Shelter Island, and he figured, while I'm up here, let me go to the local racetrack. Unlike when his dad came, Bill France Jr. showed up, it was a whole big fanfare because it was a celebration, 25 years of promoting and 50 years of the racetrack. It was a whole different story, but Brian would do that. He would go and sit there. And I know this for a fact. I'm not just, this isn't hearsay, because I was told that by a certain person because they wanted to know some of the things that did not happen. And you know what, I kind of agree with that, but you know what, here's what happens. And I say this with all due respect to not only Jerry Cook, but to Barbara and Jim Company. Jerry Cook has been around for a long time, as we all know. And Jerry Cook is a good soldier. He's a very good soldier when it comes to doing his job at NASCAR. The Cromedies were the first track in the country to sign on when it was the Winston Weekly Racing Series, the first track. That gave them a lot of juice. Barbara Cromedy is on the appeals board. Barbara Cromedy used to have a lot of juice, as Jim, because Barbara and Jim are kind of one entity when it comes to NASCAR. They had a lot of juice back in the day. What has happened is that most of their juice is retired, moved on, passed on, whatever you want to call it, and there's a whole new regime. But however, their name gets a lot of respect. So I don't think Jerry Cook would come up there and take notes and then go back to NASCAR and have them calling Barbara and Jim saying you did this, because A, Jerry Cook wouldn't be welcomed. Trust me, it happened to me. And B, they wouldn't appreciate the phone call. Now, there were some issues years ago. There was some issues with a certain chief steward putting bogus cars. He didn't even put starting park cars. He put, you know, like the parts dealer showed up in the finish. A parts dealer showed up in the finish, and he wasn't in that race. Another guy showed up in that race, and I can remember